Good morning, dear viewers. It's always a pleasure to be with you on this program, Maritime Africa Live, the voice of maritime professionals in Africa. Today, I'm very happy to close the year of the month of women with two women that will be on stage with me today. And let me introduce to you the first one. She is 𝗟𝗶𝘃𝗃𝗃. Good morning, Obima. How are you?
I'm very fine, thank you, Mr. Carlos.
Yeah, it's always a pleasure to have you on this program.
Thank you.
Okay, today we will be receiving together a great lady, a big lady in the maritime sector in Nigeria and in Africa. And before then, I would like you to introduce the WISTA International Association, Women's
Great,
International Shipping and Trading Association.
great. Thank you so much for having to host this section of this program with me, and I'm super excited. So let's get on for today's broadcast. On the 2nd of December 1974, a handful of women brokers market from Germany, the Netherlands, and the UK met for a Christmas lunch at the year-older Shire Chinese in London, UK. In 1981, the first conference of Lady in Shipping took place in Augsburg. In 1984, when the conference was held in Stockholm, it was decided to change the name to WISTA International Shipping, rather Women's International Shipping and Trading Association. That's the short word for WISTA. And today we'll be having my president, my own president. I like to call her my president, president of WISTA Nigeria, join us today. She is a remarkable, beautiful professional, and I, for one, think she is one of the best gifts for me in 2022. So I'm just going to read a few of her resume and her profile. She, host today, has been the president of WISTA International, Women International Shipping and Trading Association in Nigeria since election into the position in 2020. But before that, she was a vice president for 4 years. Prior to this, our host garnered a whole lot of experience in port and maritime, import and maritime sector in the maritime industry, where she spent 35 years in working in various section in the maritime industry. She represented the authority for 4 years at Oni Oil and Gas Free Zone Authority before being promoted to the office of the traffic manager. Our special guest today, rather, covered as the port manager in River Port Complex for 6 years before she was promoted to the port manager, Lagos Port Complex, Apapa, where she is the biggest and where was the biggest and the premium port in Nigeria. But to mention a few today, let us welcome my own president, the president of WISTA Nigeria.
Good morning.
Madam President Ma, Mrs. Eunice EZEOKE. Ma, I am so delighted to have to be on the show with you, Ma. Thank you so much, Ma.
Thank you very much. It's my pleasure to be in your midst this morning. You're welcome.
Okay, it's really an honor to
I don't know
have
why
you
I
on
can't
this
hear
program.
you, Ma, but Mr. Carlos is going to fix that. His technical team.
Yes, me, I can hear her very well. So maybe check on your side. So, Madam, I was saying it's a pleasure it's an honor to have you on this program this morning. Can you introduce yourself quickly to our dear viewers?
Okay, as she already said, my name is Eunice EZEOKE. I am currently the president of Women's International Shipping and Trading Association, Nigeria. She had already introduced WISTA International. May I say that national WISTA associations are existing in 58 countries of the world. On every continent, you have a WISTA association represented. And for Nigeria chapter, I am currently the president. Prior to that, I had already worked in maritime industry and retired in 2020.
Okay.
Wow.
Good to know it. Now, before we start the question that we prepared, I would like to know, why have you decided to join WISTA International?
Okay, very easy, because WISTA International, it's one association where the Maritime Association to the maritime industry is an industry that has long been dominated by the male gender. So the big offices, the big positions, big entrepreneurs have always been men traditionally. But as time went on, women started having an inroad into the industry. And one of the purposes of WISTA coming into being is to address this gender gap in the leadership positions in the maritime industry. And one of the reasons I joined is to gain advantage of the benefits that is accruable by being a member of WISTA Nigeria, such as visibility in the industry, having a voice, having an advantage position in terms of information, building networks, mentorships, and also gaining the advantage by merit of gaining promotions when it is available without any disequity or any kind of disparity in terms of gender. So WISTA encourages and advocates for gender equality, gender diversity, because as we can see, women bring special and unique perspectives in any office they are occupying.
Exactly.
Thank you very much for this answer. Obima, can you start with the questions?
Okay, thank you so much, Ma. We have this question that has been popping through our head, and we want to know, Ma, you have been in the working sector, in the maritime sector for several years. And when I saw your professional profile, I was like, 35 years. That's about older than me, Ma. And so I was like, this is this is super exciting, Ma. Yes, Ma. Ma, was it a childhood dream, Ma, or while you were growing up, it just came up along the line? We want to know, Ma.
Okay, I've always been curious. I've always been curious about the maritime industry, even as a child growing up. The uniqueness of a vessel, of a ship moving in the high seas. I've always wondered the mechanisms, how it moves, how it operates, how it is put together. So all this kind of accumulated to ginger my curiosity and my interest in the industry. Therefore, when I finished my NYC, the first place I tried to get employment was the Nigerian Ports Authority, and I succeeded. And that was where I had all my career life and retired there as well. So it's quite a very rich and a very rich experience I garnered from there.
Wow, that's amazing.
Okay.
Awesome.
Yeah, that's very interesting.
So Mr. Carlos is going to take the second question while I listen.
Yeah. So what have you done? What are your different achievements in the maritime sector so far? More than 30 years.
Yes. In the maritime industry, in the port industry specifically, I have worked in many ports, and I have had many experiences. Well, in my career life. I was in the oil and gas free zone, representing the authority. And when it was started, it was quite an interest because all the agencies were gathered at the oil and gas free zone. And we fashioned the documentation, how cargo should be brought in and repackaged, recycled, repackaged, and re-exported. So the zone is like a country within a country. And with a customs position there, I was privileged to be one of the pioneers of that free zone authority. Now we have other free zone authorities. We have the Lekki Free Zone Authority and other free zone authorities all over. But I was privileged to be part of that pioneering experience in the port. Thereafter, I was in Port Harcourt Port for many years as well. And operations, we operate vessels. We superintend the discharging and offloading operations, stacking, storage, delivery, and all that. However, in 2006 to 2006, the port was concessioned. So private people came into that. And then Nigerian Ports Authority considered and leased the operational aspects of the porting activities to the private individuals. The private people bought all the terminals, and the Nigerian Ports Authority became the economic regulators of the port operations. That is another interesting experience for me. And thereafter, I was transferred to Lagos Port Complex as the port manager. And while there too, my experiences were also enlarged in this area of berthing of vessels, sailing of vessels, interacting with shipping companies, berthing meetings, and a host of other agencies. Because the port is a community, you deal with other agencies, customs, shipping companies, terminal operators, ship agents, and freight forwarders, other government agencies such as the Standard Organization, NDLA, Ministry of Agri, Quarantine, Port Health. So it's a plethora of agencies, but we have common interest. And that common interest is to make sure that ease of doing business in Nigerian ports are achieved with minimum stress for the importer and the port users.
Wow.
Okay.
Awesome.
So before Obima gets to the next question, I would like to know, what did you enjoy the most?
In all these years, right?
Yeah, in all these years, what did you enjoy the most?
What I enjoy, personally, I don't like routine. Okay. I like challenges. No 2 day is the same in the industry.
Okay.
So that challenge, that as you are getting into the port, you can never predict accurately what will happen. Therefore, the challenge of facing new developments, engineering developments, legal procurement, all these aspects, all of them, anything can come up at any time. Road safety, security, trucking, all these are different aspects of the port industry and port activities that you can never predict what will happen that day. So these are different experiences and challenges and incidents, occurrences are very, very challenging and also very, very exciting and interesting as far as I'm concerned. So going to work every day, it's like, who knows? So it's an exciting experience for me. It was an exciting experience for me.
Super. And then our next question is, Ma, were there some particular challenges that would have really scared you off from the industry that you would really love to tell us? And then we have a lot of things to learn from you, especially me. I don't know about him. Yes, Ma, were there challenges that scared you off from the industry? And Ma, with this answer, you would be advising us, especially those of us in this gender, what to do and how to go about issues as relating these challenges you're going to be pointing out. Thank you, Ma.
Okay, one of the challenges that I can't say I really enjoyed is marine accidents. Marine accidents and then restiveness in the port. So marine accidents can happen and they can be very traumatic for people that witness it, and it can also be life-threatening. Sometimes lives are lost. For instance, if during operation a man can fall overboard, they call a man overboard, and if you don't have divers immediately to dive for a rescue operation, the person can get missing, and that is the end of that person. So these are some of the challenges. Secondly, even a vessel that can go aground or accident at the key apron, a vessel, there can be an accident, and during bathing or sailing, the mooring rope can cut, and it can kill somebody or it can damage the key apron. And these are some of the challenges that are not very interesting or very excitable because lives are involved, and the damages can be very extensive and very expensive to repair. But however, the PI clubs and the insurance always take care of it, especially if there are no loss of lives. Nobody enjoys any life to be lost. Personally, in one of my experiences, it was on a weekend, and you have to, in the industry, you work weekends. You can be rostered to work weekends. And one of my experiences, I was a weekend duty officer, and there was an accident. A container vessel was discharging, and the driver of the container handler, the 𝗟𝗃 container handler, was trying to stack a container that was discharged at key apron. He was driving to the stacking area to stack the container, and he never knew there was a young man trying to cut a rope that was already tied to a stacked container, and he was crushed while trying to, the driver, without seeing him, he was crushed and he died on the spot. His brain was really crushed. And as a weekend duty officer, I was called, and I had to call a doctor, a medical personnel, to come and certify him dead. We had to call a photographer to take the picture. We had to write reports upon reports, and the body has to be deposited in the mortuary. It was quite a traumatic experience for me. And these happen from time to time, not all the time, but it happens. And these are a bit of a trauma for somebody that works in the port industry, especially in Nigeria, where it's difficult sometimes to control inflow of people in the port. In some other countries abroad, you don't see people in the port, but in Nigeria, you always see people milling about. Irrespective of the fact that it's a restricted area, you still see people moving around even while vessels are being operated. So these are some of the challenges, but you have to have a strong heart and if you have passion, no matter the trauma you pass through, you get over it and go on with the job. Operation continues.
Thank you so much, Ma. Thank you so much, Ma. So let's get back to you, Mr. Carlos.
Yes, but with all these things, I would like to ask a question that we have not prepared. You are a woman in such an unpredictable industry, and you've been facing things like that. You've been working during the weekends. How do you cope with your life as a woman, as a mother?
Especially being social.
Yeah.
You see, once you have chosen a profession and you are committed and have passion and zeal for that profession, no matter what happens in that profession, you have to have a way to manage it and manage it well so that you can progress and prosper. So being a mother, was able to also manage the home. We must remember, and you must know, that women are good managers. Women have that innate ability to multitask. We have our professions, we have our homes, we have our children, we have our marriages and our husbands and the family to manage. And all this, we are able to multitask and put each in its place and also excel in the process. And that is why when you see a woman in an office or in a position, he can excel and do much better than the male counterparts, because they are natural, inborn multitaskers. That is women. And there's also the area that the husband also help. Husbands that are understanding also help their wives to excel in their chosen profession. I had a good husband who helped me even in the time of during the weekend duties. He also assisted in looking after the children when they were very small. Thank you.
Okay, you're welcome. Okay.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Okay, Ma, we're going to go to the next question. Ma, you are the present president of WISTA Nigeria. Ma, what are the objectives of the association you are presiding, and why did you decide to join it?
As I mentioned earlier, I decided to join WISTA when I saw the benefits that is accruable by being a member of WISTA Nigeria and WISTA International as well. I mentioned visibility, the networking that is available, networking with professional women. Because in WISTA, we have many other professionals, such as maritime lawyers, insurance brokers, bankers, customs brokers, freight forwarders, and entrepreneurs, because it's not just maritime, it's also logistics, it's also trading. So there we have private entrepreneurs, people that have built their businesses and are still building their businesses in the association. Therefore, when you network with all these, you learn a lot and you're exposed to other areas of trading and economic activity that you can engage in. Like as I have retired, I have members that I discuss with, and you have the privilege to be exposed to other areas of businesses that you can also go into. And these are some of the benefits that are there. Even in capacity building, WISTA also encourage and organize training activities for their members. We also sensitize the younger ones. We go to schools, secondary schools, to expose the girl child to the opportunities that are existing in the industry and encourage them to pursue careers in the maritime industry. So for achievement of WISTA Nigeria, we have done a lot in the industry. As an association, a professional association, we encourage girls in the maritime academies in Nigeria. We even offer scholarship to best performing female students there. And occasionally we offer job placements if the opportunity comes up. We offer job placements for them. And then we struggle to get seat time for those that are ready to go into sea time experiences. We all do this. Then for fisher women in the coastal areas of Nigeria, because Nigeria is a littoral state, it has a large community of the coast. These women, fisher women, we procure fishing boats for them. And we have done this in many states of the Federation. WISTA has provided fishing boats and the accessories to fisher women so that they can, when they get their fish, they can dry it and increase their revenue. And they also help in the economy of their families. These are some of the achievements that WISTA have done. Yes. And at the international level, WISTA International have entered into MOU with the International Maritime Organization. They sit in the council, and then also the Institute of Institute of Chartered Institute of Arbitration and Ship Brokers. They offer scholarship to WISTA members, and every year at least 10 members of WISTA, not only Nigeria but all over, all the national WISTA associations, they offer scholarships, and some members of WISTA Nigeria have benefited from these scholarships, as well as IMO. IMO also offers scholarships to some WISTA members every year to Galilee Institute of Maritime Institute in Galilee, Israel. I was a beneficiary of this scholarship in 2019. Yes, in 2019. So these are some of the benefits. If you're a member, you are open to benefit from all these opportunities that are available there.
Right. Also, Mr.
Okay.
Carlos says, get you.
Yeah, I would like to know, is it easy nowadays to be a woman in the maritime trade in Nigeria?
Yes, yes. I must say that the maritime business in Nigeria has been very kind, and for women, we still have a long way to go, but it's not an impossible task. Any woman that wants to engage in the industry can. The prerequisites are there, and you can have an inroad. No, it's not as difficult as it used to be. And I must say that Nigerian Ports Authority, the NIMASA, the Shippers Council, they have also always been very accommodating and have listening ears to women and anything that concerns the gender. Yes.
And so today, if someone wants to join the WISTA, how should the person go about it?
Okay, to be a member of WISTA Nigeria, it's not difficult. You just indicate your interest, and the form will be mailed to you, and you complete it and pay the requisite annual dues, and automatically you become a member. You participate in the activities of WISTA, the events. We normally have annual events. We have our training activities, capacity building. We have our excursions. We also have our advocacy activities in the country. Yes.
But I've realized that WISTA is only in English-speaking countries. That's something that I've realized, especially in Africa. I've not seen WISTA in some other countries. Oh.
They are rare. I must say it's not growing as fast and as much as we expect, but they are rare. We have WISTA Angola.
Okay.
We have WISTA Cameroon.
Okay, see, I didn't know. Okay.
We have WISTA Morocco. We have WISTA Egypt. We have WISTA India is Asia. We have WISTA in all these African countries that are not necessarily Anglophone. We have WISTA.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, I see.
Yeah, but it's not growing as fast. I tried to start in WISTA in Tanzania and also in Liberia, but that was during the COVID, and they were not very receptive because of the COVID and the uncertainties that were prevailing in that time. At that time, yes.
I'm sure that with this show, some other people will be more interested in getting registered in WISTA International. I
pray so, because we need to really have more outreach in Africa, because Africa as a continent is very huge, and the more presence we have in Africa, the more voice we have at the international level. Yes, exactly. It's very good. Yes, it's very important. Yes, yeah. It's one of our ambitions, and to expand in Africa, to expand the association in Africa as a whole. Yes.
Okay. Ma, what are your achievements during this year as a president of WISTA Nigeria?
Okay, as I mentioned, we have been able to sensitize the youth, the younger ones, mentorship programs, training programs, because we have very senior professional women in the association. We organize training programs for them. We mentor the younger ones and encourage them to aspire to higher levels and higher goals in their chosen career. We have also organized our business luncheon, which we do annually. And then in the process of organizing the business luncheon, we discuss industry issues, challenging and prevailing industry issues. There are panelists. We discuss that. Different and divergent opinions are listened to and analyzed and debated upon, at the end of which we bring out a communique and our stand on any pressing issue. Furthermore, we also have our annual magazine, WISTA magazine, which we launch once a year. And we have done that for 2 consecutive years. 2020, there was COVID, so we didn't do that, but we did in 2021. And we also did last year, 2022. And then we have been able to acquire an office for WISTA Nigeria. And in the next few weeks, we are going to commission and launch that office, the very first office for WISTA Nigeria. Yes, these are. And then we're also preparing and trying to also arrange a fishing boat or 1 or 2 for some of the states and coastal communities that we have not provided yet. We are trying to source for funds to make sure 1 or 2 fishing boats are procured for these community women in the coastal communities to be able to do their fishing business.
Awesome.
Okay, that's very
Thank
good.
you so much, Ma. Our audience have a lot of questions. Mr. Carlos is going to be reading them out.
No. We have a question. Hi, I'm 𝗟𝗶𝗃𝗃 from Delhi, New Delhi. How do you see the possibilities of association with India in terms of maritime in Africa?
The WISTA association in India.
No, I think it's work in association.
I said possibility.
Africa, yes, possibilities of working.
Yeah. Maritime in Africa. I think this is the way of WISTA International. Our audience wants to know the possibilities of associating with Africa, associating India with Africa in terms of maritime.
Yes, India is quite a huge country with a huge maritime presence. India has a huge maritime presence, and we even have the Sanlam is the people that organize the 𝗟𝗍𝗃. It's from India, maritime WISTA in India. They have a huge presence, and they even have a training program called the 𝗟𝗍𝗃, encouraging women to be being in the executive positions. So that relationship is also there, and it is also there. So the possibility is there, and it is limitless, because in India is quite a huge, it's a huge frontier in the maritime industry. Yes.
Okay, Mr. 𝗟𝗶𝗃𝗃 said working together. Okay, so I think that you answered the question already. So Africa is in link with India in terms of maritime activities. Yeah, already. Okay, so I would like to know if you have some advices for ladies in the maritime sector, what will you tell them?
I will tell them to be focused. They need to be focused and know what they want to do. They need to be persevering. You don't try once, fail and stop. You keep trying. I will advise them to be persevering, to be focused, to be dogged in whatever they are pursuing, and then never to say no until they keep trying until they get a yes. And I want to encourage them also to build themselves up. You don't be comfortable in your comfort zone. You have to start thinking outside the box, develop yourself, and engage in academic activities, those areas that there are gaps, knowledge gaps. You know those areas, and follow it, and build yourself in those areas, different competencies that you have, and that you develop it so that if there's any vacancy in any area, you are in a better position to fill that vacancy, irrespective of your gender. That is my advice to them. Not to relax, but keep building yourself, keep growing, keep training yourself. If the office is not training you, use your resources and train yourself, develop yourself, and don't be a victim. Don't play the victim. Be on the same level and on the same. Don't play the gender trick or the gender game. Don't say, give it to me because I'm a woman. Give it to me because I'm qualified. I can compete. I can compete with any man for this office. And then on a level playing field, you have to compete and prove yourself that you are capable and that you can do it as well as any other person. That's my advice to them.
Wow. Thank you so much, Ma. This particular answer was speaking to me. Thank you, Ma. Thank you, Ma.
And that's very inspiring to all the ladies.
Thank you.
Yes, it's actually to all the ladies, but I think I caught it personally. So, Mr. Carlos, let's not strike there. Okay, so this is actually a teaser. President's Mom, I'd seen some of your younger photos, and I was like, oh my God. Just seriously, my president is the queen. But I almost sent a message to you one time. I wanted to say, Ma, were you ever Miss Nigeria, or did you run any international pageantry? Because seriously, wow, the pictures I saw really thrilled me, and I wanted to say, Ma, how did you scale through in the industry where they are 99% of men, and you are just a woman in your capacity now? How did you strike through? It must be so much strength, because one time I was in the court, and out of over 1,000 men, I was the only woman on my regalia walking through, and I knew how that experience wasn't just funny, Ma. Seriously, sometimes I would be so scared and I will run out of the court sometimes. So I was wondering how you cope. Yes, Ma.
Okay.
Yes, Ma.
I must say, you have to blend. It's a question of blending. I must say, when I was a junior officer in the industry, in our operational meetings, I used to be the only woman in the meeting. But the way I blended, I never made myself to be different. I never isolated myself. I blended with the men. At a stage, the head of department during the meeting said most times they forget that they even have a woman in the house, because of the way I blended with the men in the operations, in discussions, in analysis, in arguments. And I never played a gender game. I was neck to neck in every discussion that we have. And at a point, they say they don't even remember they have a woman in their presence. And that is how far and how smoothly I blended. When they crack jokes that are not gender friendly, I laugh with them. I laugh. I don't take offense. I just laugh with them and do as if it's nothing, because they may have done it to see your reaction or to see whether you can react. Yes, but when it comes to the job, everybody is equal. When they crack jokes, I laugh, and they even laugh more than them. Then they are subdued. So that is how I blend. At the point, they forgot that they felt I was one of them, and that is how we work very smoothly together. Yes.
I can relate.
I think that's it's experience that is speaking. So it's not some
Seriously.
academic things. It's experience. So I think that it's very great to have these experiences, to share these experiences with all the ladies in the maritime sector in Africa. So
Exactly.
I don't know if you like to share another things with us relating to how women should react, how they should go about it when they are working with ladies, with men all around.
Yeah.
Okay, I will advise, women tend to be oversensitive, and knowing this, and emotional as well, knowing this, the men play on this. The men play. So you must allow yourself to be drawn into that trap. You must not allow yourself to be drawn into that trap. And then don't allow your mouth to speak for you. Let your work, your output, your results, your activities, the job, let it speak for you. Instead of talking too much, talk through your activities, talk through your assignments, talk through the results, the outputs you make out, and that will speak for you. So that anytime you open your mouth, they listen and know that it's not just a woman speaking, it's a colleague that is speaking. That's my advice to young people that are still in the service or actively in the operations.
Wow,
thank you
super.
very much. Thank you very
So
much.
much.
So,
Wow.
Ōbɪ̀mà, do you have any question before we finish this program?
Seriously, having to look at you is enough grace for me today. And I really want to say thank you for all that you have said. You were actually advising me personally. I know a lot of other women are going to see this live video. I think they might, majority of them might watch after we're done. But personally, I have learned a lot because when I decided to get into the industry, I was a bit afraid. But getting into WISTA Nigeria, and I saw a lot of other persons that have been there, I was like, okay, Chika, there is more for you. Just stay still. And it's been a smooth journey, actually.
We have a lot of seafarers as members. They also share their experiences with us. A lot of women seafarers are in our midst, and life goes on. Women should really. We have women forklift drivers, crane drivers. They are into everything now, and it's quite an interesting time for women, really. And the international maritime associations and organizations are beginning to recognize the impact and the possibilities that women can bring into the industry. And it's an interesting living, actually.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Mrs. Eunice EZEOKE. I hope I'm saying it the right way. Yeah. And thank you also, ōbɪ̀mà, for making this this live possible by proposing her as our special guest today. I'm very, very happy I'm very happy for this. And I think that all the ladies who have watched or who will watch this program will learn a lot about how they should go about the work with in the maritime sector in Africa. Thank you very much, and I hope we will see you next time for another program to share other things with all the ladies. So thanks to all our dear viewers also, and see you all next time for another edition of Maritime Africa Live. Goodbye.
Thank you. Bye.
Goodbye. Goodbye. Thank you so much, Ma.